Hey everybody. It has been far too long since I've made one of these videos, so apologies for the delay, apologies for the lighting issues, apologies for any questionable sound quality. I am filming all of this from my laptop, but here goes. This is a poem called Manhattan Beach. I hope y'all like it. The first three drafts of this were all love poems. One each for a hometown, a best friend, and a girl. None of whom really exist. And I hate talking about myself so bad that the fifth draft might be about the Pacific Ocean instead. 1. When I was 14, the only thing I loved more than surfing or sleeping in was fighting battles I knew I never had a shot at winning. So one night, when I saw the full spectrum of the Southern California sunset split white right through my living room window, I stumbled from the wreckage and I ran for the water. Figured the worst the sea could ever do was drown me. Thought it would just swallow me whole, lose me hoodie to high tops, in cold and gray in the song of sirens, wash the ink stains from my hands, and fill me with absolution. Fill my very cells with love and salt water till they were drunk and content to burst out in shame and forgiveness. The current coming in to claim my body for Atlantis. If the tide had risen then, there'd be no trace of me. But there is. 2. The words come easier if I make this about the ocean. It's easier talking about waves crashing against rocks than it is to talk about elbows rocking jawbones. It's easier talking about the siren songs of legend than real ones on real ambulances. Let me talk about tropical depressions instead, white whale obsessions instead, and seas full of troubles for people full of hopes, when it was all really the other way around. At least this way. This way, we can say that the addicts we've loved went down noble captains of sinking ships, draw anchors on their eyelids, and tell their families that they just drowned beneath the weight. And when we bury them at sea, the screams of the surf will drown out the whispered cries we only speak to curse ourselves, and we will lose sight of our tears in the foam before they ever hit the ground. 3. It's not that I have anything in particular against the gangly teenagers sitting high in their white wooden towers, with pairs of red swim trunks who match their wife-beater burn lines, desperately trying to wring some social confidence from the whistles strung around their necks. It's just that the surface of this planet is 71% water. So when 96% of us choose to live our lives 97% landlocked, I just feel like we could find a better way to call people lifeguards, even if it meant we'd have to pay them more than $8 an hour. 4. There is a scar on my right wrist, a reminder like a teardrop hitting concrete, a small gray reminder not to be the same kid who just sat there when they came to help him. Didn't say anything, just tugged it down on his sleeve to hide the burn marks, as the sirens on land rushed up to carry me away down DCH with them. Even with all the traffic, and the smog, and an IV running through scar tissue, there are some drives in Los Angeles that it is impossible not to fall for. 5. Sometimes I miss my ocean so badly that even the Hudson looks beautiful. 6. The only time I've ever seen anybody in the Hudson or the East, I was walking through a film set, and they were dead, and you couldn't tell what was man and what was river because they were both the same sick shade of khaki, and they don't care that there's no romance in those waters. 7. As much as I love the coast I came from, this city became a home as soon as I knew it was willing to be considered as an option. As soon as I found a school that would teach me to save lives, and roommates that would let me in when I forgot my key. So I got a scholarship and a psych degree, an internship and a hotline number. And when the rent gets tough, I string a whistle around my neck and I go to work for the Y. That part stings a little, but it's never hard finding shifts. This city is always in need of more lifeguards. 8. Saltwater makes for decent antiseptic, but it is a lousy painkiller. 9. You see, the lovely thing about hiding behind ocean metaphors is how they're kind of like actual oceans, in that people find them impressive and exciting, and so incomprehensibly deep without them ever actually having to mean anything. 10. Do you know what happens when lightning hits scar tissue? 11. There is something uniquely relaxing about the feel of wet sand underneath your bare feet, looking over your shoulder up the coastline after every few steps, just to make sure that the waves have washed away every trace of where you've been. 12. A few days ago, my best friend turned 22. A city kid born and raised, he says the world could begin and end in these 5 boroughs. He doesn't even have a driver's license, and he never learned to swim. He still doesn't understand why I got him a pair of red board shorts and a whistle for his birthday. I just told him that it was a metaphor.